Hi everybody, welcome to Click to Learn More, the show that sounds like clickbait.
But it's actually two dorks.
I'm Dorm.
I'm Lidi.
Today, Liddy,
Yes,
this is the
Dorm.
third episode
The third.
of the Click to Learn More triad.
The only 3 episodes we're ever gonna do.
Threequels are usually decent, right?
Yeah, they're very popular.
Dark Knight Rises, that was a good one.
They're very popular in popular
Whichever
culture.
one of the Matrix films was third.
Ugh.
Matrix Revolution? What was it? It was Reloaded and then Revelations?
I don't know.
It was bad.
I
That
stopped
was a
paying
bad one.
attention.
Terminator 3 was good.
Which one was the thumb?
It wasn't good.
The melting thumb.
T2.
2 was good. I liked 2.
So today, Liddy,
Yeah.
I'm going to be talking about rap.
What's that?
It's this newfangled music that the kids are listening to. No, I fully understand that this is a little bit ironic to have a white guy talking about hip hop for an hour, but
I hadn't even considered
that's
that.
what I'm about to
a good
do.
point. I know nothing of rap.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
You know a little bit.
I'll say I know my knowledge of rap falls under the like 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, like Nelly kind of hip hop and rap.
The
like
Saint Lunatics.
Yeah, I would like Outkast and stuff like that. Like I would say that that's kind of where my knowledge of rap ended.
Okay.
That it lived and died in the 2000s,
Yeah.
and that's about it.
All right. So specifically, I'm not just going to talk about like the history of rap. That would
Okay.
take far too long. I'm going to talk about Kendrick Lamar.
I know him.
Yes, who
Heard of
did
him.
the song "Humble," which has spawned
one of my favorites now.
yeah,
Yeah,
which has spawned sort of a different thing in your streams, twitch.tv/Team Liddy. But I specifically I want to get even more granular than that.
Okay.
So I want to talk about I want to talk about what I would consider maybe one of the most fun weekends of music listening I've ever had in my life.
Okay.
It was from Friday, April 14th, 2017 until
dates.
that Sunday.
Dates.
Oh yeah, I'm ready this time.
Oh.
So, but before we get into why that is,
Okay.
I'm going to tell you a little bit about Kendrick.
Okay.
Okay? Kendrick
Yes.
Lamar is a rapper from Compton, but sorry, I did my notes sort of backwards here.
His family calls him Man Man. Or when he was a kid, he was called Man Man.
Yes.
I looked up information too.
All right. I didn't know we were allowed to pre-research.
That's it. That's
Pre-search?
That's good.
Thanks.
That's all I know.
Okay, so Kendrick released his first official rap album. He released a couple mixtapes.
Okay.
Overly Dedicated being the best of those. But he released his first studio album in 2011. It was called Section 80.
First time anybody had ever heard of him, like mainstream?
Yeah, mainstream for sure.
Okay.
I would even argue that he didn't really have a mainstream hit from this album.
Okay.
This was sort of, so to give a little bit of a background on where I was with Kendrick. In 2011, cue groaning, I was in the middle of high school, and I was on a website called Hot New Hip Hop, which was sort of, I think it's still going. I don't know. I haven't really checked that much, but this was sort of
New hip hop.
pre-Spotify, but post-internet.
This was a place to find new,
Yes,
hot
exactly.
new rap music that you couldn't find anywhere else.
Right.
There was no Discover Weekly.
Right,
It was
exactly.
okay.
And it was sort of almost like, sorry, it was my stomach. It was, Discovery meets forum, kind of.
Cool.
So there was a comment section where people talk about it. People could give it ratings, and that's what moved it up the charts.
Neat. Okay.
This is actually how I found out about Kendrick, J. Cole, Logic, Big Sean. A lot of these...
In the same time.
Yes. A lot of these bigger
Cool.
rappers now sort of... I wouldn't say start on Hot New Hip Hop, but Hot New Hip Hop was an avenue where people found them.
Okay. Cool.
They were still doing mixtapes and stuff. So I found out... I thought my first real Kendrick album was the second one.
Okay.
I went back and looked at some of my music I was listening to in high school, and I had a bunch of tracks off of Section 80, but I didn't know about Section 80, if that makes sense.
Huh.
So I had downloaded
okay.
a bunch of Kendrick Lamar tracks off Hot New Hip Hop, not knowing they were from an album.
Oh.
I thought they were just one-offs or from a mixtape or something. So it wasn't until I went back and listened to Section 80 a couple of years ago, really, for the first time, like, intimately, that I was like, oh, shit, I remember this song.
Right.
And then I went back and confirmed that. So I've been a Kendrick fan since, like, 2011, which is kind of crazy.
That's wild. Okay.
This is really cool. I'm gonna reference the Metacritic scores. If you're not aware of what Metacritic is, it is an online aggregate similar to like Rotten Tomatoes for music and games.
Okay, I was gonna say I know.
And
that they
movies
do.
and TV shows, I think too.
Okay, I was gonna say I know for sure the game aspect.
It has a little bit of a different algorithm than Rotten Tomatoes. It's basically just averaging as opposed to Rotten Tomatoes gives more weight to like bigger outlets and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Metacritic is literally just the average score across the board, I'm pretty sure. So Metacritic is a pretty trusty rating. Is like Wikipedia references them when they talk about albums. Like, it's sort of a pretty good vision of where critics thought it landed. Of course, critics are critics. So
critics and as well as your peers, or is it mostly just critics?
No, just critics. But it could be a guy writing a pretty good blog. Like if they are a known quantity, right?
Okay, gotcha.
It doesn't have to be, guy from New York Times or whatever. Especially not with music. So Section 80, aptly enough, has an 80 on Metacritic.
What?
Which is funny. But so it is considered a good album. It's really raw as a Kendrick fan. It's not really Kendrick refined yet.
Okay.
He's still sort of coming into his own. It's a lot more basic rapping than what he would get into. This is really cool. I was reading some of the Metacritic reviews of Section 80 today. DJ Booth, who is, I guess, a blogger, I'd never heard of him.
DJ Booth?
Yes. Said in 2011,
okay,
Section 80 may not be a sacred text, but I've got the feeling that in 5 years it may just prove to be prophetic.
Okay.
And he was basically right.
So in 5 years would have
in 2016, Kendrick was huge.
Okay.
So it's kind of wild that you could kind of see the writing on the wall there.
Yeah.
Section 80, I think in my brain, I don't know how other people think about this, kind of exists outside of the other Kendrick albums.
Okay.
I really consider the start of what we know Kendrick Lamar as Good Kid, Mad City, which was the second album, which came out in 2012. So just a year later.
So he already came out with the second album a year later. Is that common for rappers to
come out? It depends. Future dropped 2 albums in a year. Brockhampton, a rap group, now granted there's a bunch of them, dropped 3 albums last year, and they were called Saturation 1, Saturation 2, and Saturation 3.
That's kind of clever.
So they're kind of clever about it. So it's not ridiculous, but it is very quick. It is quick turnaround. It's notable.
Yeah.
Especially for the kind of writing that was on Good Kid, Mad City. So, like I said, he's from Compton. He pulls a lot of that into Good Kid, Mad City. So sort of how he grew up in tougher neighborhoods. And he also references, like, in the music production, people like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and NWA and, like, all of these Compton rappers, right?
Gotcha.
It's a lot harder than Section 80. It's Kendrick at his hardest, quote unquote. So, like, thank you.
How'd you know?
I could see the little eyebrow movement.
Oh.
I also was very wary that I'd said Kendrick at his hardest. Oh, that's my phone.
Also, you know who I am as a person, so.
Yeah. So, he had a song called Backseat Freestyle, which is maybe his hardest track of all time.
Is it a freestyle?
No.
Oh.
It's just a rap thing, an album thing to
just
say
call it
freestyle, yeah. I mean, it might have been originally, right? He might have pulled from it, but it's not on the record because it's on the record. So it's not a freestyle by definition.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
It can't be a freestyle if it's...
It could have been originally, right? And he could have recorded it or
just
done it off the dome. Do you want to know the chorus of it? It's very explicit.
Yes.
I mean, you talked about gore, so I feel like I get a little bit of verbal license.
I talked about people getting their guts ripped out.
So the chorus of Backseat Freestyle is, all my life I want money and power, respect my mind or die for less, y'all. I pray my dick get big as the Eiffel Tower so I can fuck the world for 72 hours. That's the chorus.
Oh, well, that's okay. That's
it's great.
I've heard worse.
It's a great song. It's really good.
Yeah, I've heard worse.
He also had, so this was his first hit came from this album.
Okay. Which was
Swimming Pools. In parentheses, drank, and that's what you know it for. Pull up, drank. Sit down, drank. Stand up, drank. That song.
That's a Kendrick song?
Yeah, that was his first real big hit. So if Section 80 was his first album, this was sort of the album that made him a known quantity among a little bit less like in the weeds rap people.
Okay.
And even me to an extent. Like I was really took note of him here. And he did a Grammy performance with Imagine Dragons. In 2013, the year after this came up, which was Swimming Pools with Radioactive.
I remember this.
Which is maybe my favorite Grammy performance of all time.
I do remember this. I remember this happening.
Maybe my favorite, but arguably not even his best Grammy performance, which is wild. When he did the Grammys 2 years ago was better. So, 2012 is Good Kid, Mad City. That's sort of where everyone takes notice. It's an amazing album, one of my favorite albums. It has a 91 on Metacritic. So, very good score, right?
Shoot.
Then, in 2015, he dropped To Pimp a Butterfly.
To Pimp a Butterfly?
Yes, which is a reference to a poem, I forget where from, but it's a reference.
To Pin a Butterfly?
No, I think the lyric is to Pimp a Butterfly. Like, it's from some poem about, like, racial rights in the 60s.
Oh, okay.
Because this was in 2015, so this was at the height of Black Lives Matter. This was both influenced by and went on to influence that movement.
Cool.
The album art is maybe one of my favorite album covers, or is one of my favorite album covers all the time. Maybe my favorite. It's a bunch of black dudes who have usurped like a dead judge-looking guy, and they're all just like posing on him. And there's like the White House in the background, or like some government building.
I think you sent this.
It's awesome.
You sent this to me.
The cool story about this, really quickly, is that it was basically just an idea a designer had, and Kendrick's like, "Oh, that sounds cool. Let me see it." And he sent like a mock-up of it, and he's like, "Yeah, that's it." And so that was it. That was like, they didn't even go in and refine it. It was that.
So it's the mock-up.
Basically, just turned black and white. Yeah.
Wow.
So a really cool image, and that sort of course, informs what the album's about. It's a lot of it is about social injustices and black culture, but it's interesting because in Good Kid he was really hard. In this he was a little bit subtler, a little bit funkier, which is interesting. All the samples are from 69. It was one of the years. 68 maybe. There was a year specifically where all of the samples are from. So
would you say at this point he's still trying to get his voice? Like
this is his voice. This is when he's hit his prime.
He's finally discovered what his voice is. Okay. This is 2015 or 2016?
This is 2015.
2015. Okay.
So this album, I remember waiting for it to drop.
Really?
Yeah, like stayed up all Thursday night so I could hear it. I had Beats Music at the time. Refreshing Beats Music in the dorm, just like eager.
In the dorm. Twitch.tv/dormstreams.
Ah, good one. So we had that. It was just waiting. And I will be honest, on first listen, I was a little disappointed.
Really? Okay.
Here's why. I was expecting Kendrick from Good Kid, Mad City, which is hard. This song's gonna make me really hype.
Yeah. Okay.
And the singles we had heard from it, which were I Was Funky. I should have been a bit of an indicator. King Kunta and Blacker the Berry. Those two songs were both pretty hard.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, he's gonna mix in this funkier stuff like he did on Good Kid, Mad City a little bit, but it ended up being the funkier sound with King Kunta and Blacker the Berry being a little bit more standout from the other way. So I was
he throwing people off.
I don't think so. I think it was just my expectations.
Okay.
I disappointed myself a little bit.
Okay.
And then I listened to it 2 or 3 times and instantly fell in love with it. The lyrics are so much better. They're so much more poised. There's a song called You, just the letter U, and he talks about like his mental architecture, like the way he thinks and like what he thinks of himself, and he's like really vulnerable on it.
Introspective.
Yeah, and like it's so good. Probably my favorite Kendrick song.
Ever, still to this day.
Maybe, yeah.
Ooh.
It's really, really good.
Pause the podcast. Go listen. And you're back. All
Welcome back. So that was To Pimp a Butterfly. To Pimp a Butterfly has a 96 on Metacritic. I was surprised it wasn't 100.
Okay.
This was critically acclaimed from everyone.
Is there something that's 100 off the top of your head that you know of?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay, so it's kind of like...
I imagine like OK Computer or something like that. Like some bullshit music.
Oh, no!
Sorry. No, Radiohead's fine. But critic-driven music.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't think of 100 that would have like mass appeal. This is the album that still holds the record for most Grammy nominations for a rap album with 11.
Still to this day.
Yes. So he set the record then, and he still holds it.
Oh shoot.
It, like I said, beloved by everyone. So that takes us to Damn. Damn is the album that came out on April 14th, the first date I mentioned.
Yes.
So it has
a shirt.
Yes, I have a shirt that says Damn because I ended up buying the deluxe edition once it came out.
So tell me what came with the deluxe edition, because I remember you being super hype about it and like sending me pictures, and I was like,
yes,
cool, because I had no clue what it was.
So Damn, the deluxe edition was a vinyl that was signed.
Okay.
By Kendrick.
Okay.
A download, and then the shirt.
Sweet. All right.
For like $40 or something, which wasn't bad. Yeah.
Total?
Yeah. And I was like, I have to buy this. Yeah.
I would pay $40 for that, and right. I just know one or two
and the shirt
songs.
was exclusive, like they were never going to sell it again. So I was like, all right, why not?
Heck yeah. All right, well that's a great deal.
So there might have been one other thing, but I don't remember.
Let's just say it's 40.
Yeah. So Damn comes out, and again, waited up all night for it. Listened to it. I distinctly remember crawling into bed, turning off all my lights, putting on the Bose headphones I used to stream with, and just like sitting there. and listening to the album. Yes.
Absorbing.
And I actually tweeted this from the Dorm Streams account, my first listen. So I was live tweeting as I was listening to it. You can go back and listen to it. I forget. I think it was. I'll have to find it. But there's a hashtag thread of me my little reactions. Yeah.
Aww.
So I was so excited, and I enjoyed this album more on first take than I enjoyed To Pimp a Butterfly more on first take.
Okay.
That being said, To Pimp a Butterfly is still my favorite Kendrick album.
Okay.
Damn is a great album. It was the best album of last year. I am not disparaging this album at all, but To Pimp a Butterfly was a masterpiece. I mean, it changed the game of rap. People. This is like Dre Chronic 2001. This is like Straight Outta Compton. This is like
so this set
Fear of the Black
precedent.
Planet. Yeah, this is a seminal rap album already.
Okay.
Instant classic.
Okay.
Here's what Alex Petridis of The Guardian wrote about Damn.
Okay.
If it seems a more straightforward listen than To Pimp a Butterfly, there's a cheering sense that this doesn't equate to a lessening of musical ambition. There's none of that album's willfully jarring quality, its sudden anxious musical lurches and abrupt short-circuit leaps between genres. But the tracks on Damn still feel episodic and expansive. Whether Damn will have the same epochal, E-P-O-C-H-A-L, I don't know what that means, like an epic, impact as To Pimp a Butterfly remains to be seen, but either way, it sounds like the work of a supremely confident artist at the top of his game.
Okay.
So this quote did a good job of sort of condensing what my thoughts on the album were.
Okay.
It was still great. It may not be as iconic, right? And maybe because it was second. If Damn came out first, who knows? We might still be talking about it. I'm going to take a water break.
Water break. Water break. Everybody drink some water now.
Okay, so Damn comes out. Actually, we need to go back before Damn comes out.
Okay.
Kendrick releases a song called The Heart Part 4. Which is
Heart.
Like you're in your chest. The
not somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Heart Part 4, which is him going over several different beats, just sort of crushing it. Just
Part
like
4.
Yeah, so I think I may be wrong on this, but I think he's done this a couple of times before releasing something. He'll release like The Heart Part 1, The Heart Part 2, The Heart Part 3. So I think this was the fourth one. I think he used to do it more with his mixtapes. I'm not quite sure on that, but I heard that somewhere. So I don't know if that's true or not. I'll fact check it. God, my stomach. I don't know if that's picking up on the mic, but so The Heart Part 4 says in it, he releases the single sort of just out in the wild.
Okay.
I mean, you always assume right after someone finishes an album that they're working on the next one, right? Mm-hmm. But there hadn't been really any buzz about the next album other than like a couple of tweets of musicians saying they were in the studio with Kendrick, but that happens all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like that's nothing.
Right.
So in this song, he ends it with, "Y'all got till April the 7th to get y'all shit together." So everyone's like, "Oh, snap.
Something's happening."
He's dropping the album April 7th. Okay?
Oh, so this is in a song.
Yes, that's the last line of the song. "Y'all got till April the 7th to get y'all shit together." And it's very poignant. It's not like he's just hidden it in the track, right? Like that is the last line.
Okay.
So April 7th rolls around and he teases and shows the album artwork for Damn. Okay? So he says Damn is the album. It's coming out next week. So he basically was like, "Y'all got till April the 7th," and then on April the 7th, he was like, "Actually, y'all got till April the 14th."
Oh, okay.
But as I said, Damn is a great album. But everyone was curious how he was going to top To Pimp a Butterfly. And the argument has been made, did he with Damn? I don't think most people would say yes.
Okay.
I do think that everyone thought Damn was good, but not To Pimp a Butterfly level, because again, it's a masterpiece. It's hard to top yourself that way.
Right.
So, on the Kendrick Lamar subreddit, on Twitter, on like a specific rap Twitter, a theory starts circulating.
Okay.
That there is another album.
A conspiracy theory, if
yes.
you will. An ARG.
So now we are going to get into why people thought there was a second album.
Your notes.
Yeah, I've got a lot. So this was so exciting for me. I remember being on Reddit way more than I'm ever on Reddit.
Right.
Just like refreshing, seeing what people found, because
right.
it was like pulling in a thread, right? Like once you start unraveling it, you want to keep going.
Yeah.
So It was wild. That's the only way I know to describe it. It was wild.
So what were your clues?
The first clue was the date.
Okay.
April 14th. Okay. 2017 was Good Friday.
Ooh. Okay.
Which, if you're not familiar with biblical stories, Good Friday is when Jesus was crucified and died.
And came back 3 days later.
Right, on Easter Sunday. When Damn was announced and said it's coming next week or whatever, music usually drops on a Friday. Albums usually drop on a Friday. That is just... Games usually drop on a Tuesday. Albums usually drop on a Friday. Some games drop on Friday for worldwide releases to sync them all up. But that's why New Music Friday on Spotify is a playlist. Like, music usually drops on Fridays.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's just the way it's always been. So, the 14th was a Friday. But iTunes listed Damn as coming out on the 16th, which was Easter Sunday.
Okay.
So we already have... Okay, it was on Easter Sunday, but now it's on Good Friday. Why would iTunes ever say it was on Easter Sunday?
Right.
Albums usually come out on Fridays.
Right.
So that was clue 1.
Okay. So you guys had like an Excel spreadsheet of like, this is happening.
So the thing I saw that kicked it all off was a tweet with an image with a bunch of things listed. So one guy probably thought this.
And got it
out, and people were like, "Oh shit, those aren't the only clues. Let's find more."
Okay.
So,
and also that kind of gave you like something to do until it actually happened. Like, and that's a fun way for the fans to kind of like
of course,
collaborate with each other.
So on Easter Sunday, Kendrick so happened to be headlining Coachella.
Oh, so everybody's like, "This is it.
This is when he's gonna say at the end of the thing, or he's just gonna start
new songs,
new music."
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that also plays into the whole thing. It's such a cool story. So in this 72-hour period, I would argue, because, well, we'll say 48 for the sake of cleanness, but if you see the album artwork of Damn, do you know what it looks like?
No.
Okay, let me pull it up for you. I'll put it on the screen as well. The period on Damn is cut off.
Okay. But it's just text, right? Like, isn't it white background and just...
This is the cover of Damn.
Okay.
This is... take a couple seconds with that.
Okay. So it's our boy. And the kerning is off on the period.
Yeah, a little bit, right. Yeah, it's cropped off. It's bleeding off the edge, right?
Yes, and he does not look happy. Okay.
Yes. So, people looking at the album artwork... saw that the period was cut off, and they thought, well, is there something on the other side of the period?
Oh.
Is when you see the other album, is there going to be another half of the circle, right?
That's smart. Like, that makes a good point.
Yeah.
Because it seems, from a stylistic choice, from a design perspective, like, that seems off.
Yes.
Because it is so far away.
Right. It's
from
tension.
The rest of it. Like, it seems intentional.
So... On the Hard Part 4, song that came out again before Damn Damn released, Kendrick says, "I said it's like that. Dropped one classic, came right back. Another classic, right back. My next album, the whole industry on an ice pack. And then with TOC, you see the flames in my EYEs." So there are a couple of different things here.
TOC.
So people were thinking... Dropped one classic, right back. So, Good Kid, Mad City is what people were thinking was the first classic.
Okay.
Another classic, To Pimp a Butterfly.
Okay.
Right back.
Okay.
My next album, The Whole Industry on an Ice Pack, Damn.
Okay.
With TOC, you see the flames. Well, no one really knew what TOC meant.
Right.
And the speculation was the other color. So, Damn is red text... Kendrick on a red background. It's a very red image.
Okay.
The back of Damn, the back artwork. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
So the back meaning the back of the album?
Yes.
Like the back of the case. Do people still buy CDs in cases? Is that still a thing?
I think so.
Is all music just digitized at this point? Like, how old am I? Very, to answer your question.
Okay, so this is the back of Damn.
Oh.
It's green.
That's
right?
odd.
It's red and green.
Very odd. And it's also cut off at the end. The period's also cut off.
So, red and green. Mm-hmm. The Spotify icon for Kendrick was him on a blue background.
Okay.
The first song of Damn is called Blood, which is red.
Mm-hmm. What?
So people thought, from a gang perspective, the Bloods are red.
Gotcha.
So Kendrick, on a blue background, the first song's Blood. The other color, maybe, is the first song on the next album called Crip, because of the Crips who are blue.
Blue. Okay.
So blue thing.
Everybody, they went in.
Oh yeah. This speculation's amazing.
Like this was intense.
Yes. Let's see here. I'm trying to construct these in the best manner possible. So another point about the album artwork, since we're already on that.
Yes.
The M on Damn is right above Kendrick's head.
Okay.
The M, now ride with me a little bit.
Okay, I'm ready.
Could possibly be horns. Like an M on his head.
And then we have the imagery of
him on the blue background.
Oh.
So, people thought that then the other album could either be called God, so it's Goddamn.
Okay.
With the O being a halo.
Okay.
Or Nation being Damnation, with the O being a halo.
Okay.
So those were the two big theories, that the album was either called God or Nation.
Okay.
The first track, called Blood, has Kendrick dying. So
the first track of the album?
Yes. He talks about he saw a woman on the street. He walked up to her. She seemed to be a little bit frustrated. He asked if she had lost something. She replied, "Oh yes, you have lost something. You've lost your life gunshot." Then DNA starts. That's how the album starts.
Oh, jeez.
Yes. So it goes, you've lost your life. Is it wickedness? Is it weakness? So there's this whole theme throughout the whole album of duality.
Right.
Is it wickedness? Is it weakness?
Okay.
And another theme is like, ain't nobody praying for me, and then he has a song called Pray.
Right.
So like there's a lot of parody on the album.
And there's some kind of underlying religious imagery
throughout. So this is another thing, right?
Okay.
Good Friday.
Right.
Does he see himself as God? He died on Good Friday
Easter
in
Sunday.
the album. Mm-hmm. He says in DNA, I was born like this, Immaculate Conception. Another line being drawn. There's a song called God where the chorus is, "This what God feel like." Okay. So he is drawing the parallels.
So it's good to see that like the speculation from the fans was warranted. Like these are very interesting points from the fans for this album and for the new album name and stuff. Like that's, I mean, they were very smart.
So there is a little bit of credibility to some of these things.
Yeah.
There wasn't a second album, spoiler alert. But there was this theory because, so that first thing is a spoken thing, like I said, and then is it wickedness or weakness, and then it goes into DNA. The last song on the album says, it basically goes, is it wickedness or weakness again? And then it rewinds through the entirety of the album backwards.
The whole album?
Yeah, so it's like really quickly. It's like, and then like it slows down as it gets toward the beginning, right? So you can hear the yaga, which is like I got, which is how DNA starts.
Okay.
So and then it says, so I was taking a walk the other day, which is how Blood starts. So people immediately were like, oh, this album's supposed to be listened to backwards. So
at the end of it, he would die.
It rewinds to the beginning.
Okay, so if you were to listen to it backwards, he would die at the end.
Die at the end of the album, correct. So, if that is the case, which was later confirmed by Kendrick, the album is supposed to be listened to either way. It's meant to be listened to either way.
Okay.
He designed it that the story goes either way.
That's wild, though. Yeah. Like, that is so beyond, like...
So there's a really cool video of a guy, I'll link it in the description, talking about just that part, just the backward part, and explaining what each song means. I won't go into too much detail, but if you listen to it forward, it's just a story taking different parts of Kendrick's life.
Okay.
Right? This character of Kendrick, not actually Kendrick, because Kendrick is still alive.
Or is he?
At the recording of this podcast, I don't know. So Kendrick is still alive. So him dying, his character dying, and then it just takes a bunch of like different things. Now, the last song, Duckworth, is
Duckworth?
That's his actual last name. Kendrick's real name is Kendrick Lamar Duckworth. So Lamar is his middle name.
Ooh.
But that was good. It talks about how his mentor, Top Dog, and his dad...
Who?
Top Dog, Topdawg.
No relation to Snoop.
No, because that's D-O-double-G.
He's Snoop Lion now or something, right?
No,
Or
he's
did
back to Dog. He quit that. Thank goodness.
That was weird. Anyway, go ahead.
It was a strange...
Sorry.
No, you're good. So, his dad, Kendrick's dad...
Okay.
And...
Mr. Duckworth.
Top Dog had, supposedly, as far as I know, a real run-in where Kendrick's dad was working at a KFC. I think it was KFC. It was a chicken place for sure.
Okay.
And Top Dog's like group of guys robbed it. But because Kendrick's dad was always nice to them, they spared him.
Oh shoot.
So it's all about like, what if he had killed my dad?
Yeah.
What would have happened?
Yeah.
Right? Because he would go to prison, and then would I become who I was? It's a cool like story of a song.
That gives me chills. That's
Yeah.
like a weird. Oof.
So like that was, I may have flipped the characters there, but I'm pretty sure Anthony killed Ducky. Yeah. So sorry, some of this is in my head.
You're fine.
So that's what the last song is about, and people are saying if you start listening to it backward, well, then that's like the first moment in his life that impacted him, right?
Oh.
The fact that he didn't kill his dad, who would be his dad. I don't know if he was his dad at the time.
Okay.
And then each song kind of progresses as his life as a person, as opposed to what seem like random intervals.
As opposed to he dies, and then we're seeing this overview of his life as a person before he died.
Right.
Now we're seeing it as leading up to his death.
Yes.
At the end
Yes,
of the album, which is actually the beginning of the
Exactly.
album. Okay.
That video is really good. It's like 6 minutes. I highly recommend it.
The fact that you can listen to this forward and backward, from as someone who doesn't listen to rap music,
Yeah.
very much at all, like that is kind of an artistry that's really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because it seems like nowadays no music style will actually
It's a lot of forethought.
do any, like especially designing an entire
Yeah.
idea around this. You can listen to it forward or backward. Like that seems super. It's more on the artistic side rather than the just entertainment side, which I like.
So something that's really interesting, he later released, so he confirmed that in an interview, and then he later released the Damn Collector's Edition,
Okay.
which is just the album backwards. That's it.
So that's just, so he's like, yes, it was confirmed. Here it is.
I love it because it's such a money grab, but it's like, crap, that's good.
Yeah.
You did a good one.
Yeah, it's good. I need it. Yeah.
But I prefer the album forward because some songs lead into others, and it's weird to not hear that happen.
Okay.
But story-wise, I think it's way more interesting backward. That being said, going back to the theory, if he died there, then is he resurrected on Easter Sunday? With the wickedness or weakness line, he says, you decide, are we going to live or die? Is Kendrick saying that we can decide which album we want to believe? Damn, the one where he dies, or Nation/God, the one where he lives. So there's another instance of parody. Now, there's a line that I didn't put down here, but I always love it. In Humble, right? There are a couple of lines that you would think may point toward this being true.
Okay.
My left stroke just went viral. Right stroke put a baby in a spiral. What does that mean?
Right.
Left stroke could be the album he just dropped. It just went viral. And y'all aren't ready for the right stroke, which would be the second album.
Put a baby in a spiral.
I still don't know what that means.
Yeah.
The baby in the spiral part. But like maybe just like make you lose your mind. Like just go crazy.
Do you know if he's left or right-handed?
I do not know that.
Because that might...
Yeah, maybe. It's interesting to look back on this now that there isn't a second album. But there's another song. There's another line in Humble, which is that Grey Poupon, that Evian, that TED Talk. Grey Poupon's brand colors, red and blue. Evian's brand colors, red and blue. TED Talk, red stage, blue light on the crowds.
Okay.
So that everyone was like, oh crap. There's a lot of red and blue.
Yeah.
He also references The Matrix in DNA, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, this is how it feel when you're in the Matrix, dodging bullets, reaping what you're sowing. That.
Red pill, blue pill.
Yes.
He does say something about. Does he say something?
Yes,
about
he also mentions red pill and blue pill
Yeah,
specifically
he
on another
mentioned
app, on I think on DNA too.
Okay. I remember that.
This leads to when Soundwave, who is one of the producers on the album, part of TDE, Top Dog Entertainment, which is
Soundwave, also a transformer.
Yes, this is true. Not the same guy though. This isn't the Transformer tweeting
Not
this.
not the transformer.
No, this is Soundwave with no D.
I was gonna say I was proud of him.
Soundwave.
Oh.
He tweeted who is a producer on the album.
Okay.
But what if I told you that's not the official version?
Just that, nothing, no.
He then tweeted
Okay.
a picture of Morpheus from The Matrix. In the reflection of his sunglasses, it's when he's offering the pills, so it's a red pill and a blue pill. And but what if I told you?
Well, what if I told you that there's two options?
So now looking back on it, it's pretty clear he's referencing the backward version of Damn.
Okay.
Right? That's not the official version, and then he dropped the collector's edition.
Okay.
But at the time, people thought, because it's not complete yet.
Right.
Because it doesn't have both sides.
There's a second part. Right. Okay.
And that's really the lion's share of it. I find it just to be really cool to go back and look at it.
Yeah.
Because I was so hype about it. There's also a period at the end of each song on Damn. So people thought, are these 2-word sentences? Are they going to have pairings? And then on the back of the artwork, again, I'll put it up. But instead of listing it straight left and right, he lists things at an angle. And the wall behind him... The wall behind him cuts off... Excuse me. The wall behind him cuts off the last letter of each song, not the first letter.
As if there's something else.
As if there's clue, as if there's like something to puzzle out there.
Next to it. Oh.
So each letter, if you rearrange those, says death to the leader. Which could be a reference to him dying again, coming back. Okay. So there's a lot of that. There's also, in the Humble music video, Kendrick is Jesus at the Last Supper.
Oh, really?
And he also has a burning crown of thorns in one part of it.
Oh, shoot.
So it's like, okay, well, he is definitely leaning into this Jesus thing.
Right. Like, the imagery at that point is undeniable, right? Like,
yes. Now, the interesting part of this is that, I mean, if that wasn't interesting enough, he went on to do this Coachella performance, right? I remember my first real use of Discord was in the Kendrick Lamar Discord.
He has a Discord?
Yeah, there's for like
fans.
the Reddit community.
Oh, okay.
Which was what was blowing this all up. And thank you to, I forget the poster's name, but someone made like a retrospective compilation of all the things right before, like on the 16th, basically, which is Easter Sunday.
Gotcha.
Then the theory kind of died. There were other small things, not that they mentioned, but that I remember, like, he was like dodging the question a little bit, of course,
because he had a plan, like he had something else coming,
and it's never bad to build hype, right?
Absolutely,
hype is one of the most marketable things in the world, so you might as well keep it,
right?
And then he's like, he was doing, this is really cool. He went to a Best Buy in Compton and just signed CDs for like 4 hours,
just like on the stands.
Like no. He people sat down so people of Compton could come to him and get their CDs signed.
That's freaking cool.
Yeah, just like the Best Buy near his house in Compton when he was growing up, like this normal ass Best Buy. And his PR guy was Instagramming like the line and like just talking to people, whatever. And went up to Kendrick, and Kendrick's like, "Let me see the phone." He's like, "What up, kinfolk?" And everybody's like, "Oh shit, we got to start calling ourselves kinfolk." That's awesome, Kendrick. And so he was like, I appreciate the love you all are showing in this album. Stay tuned, basically. So it's like, all right, you're really playing into it.
Yeah. You know that we know something's up.
Yeah. And someone asked him in an interview in that weekend, it was like, have you seen all this stuff online? And he was like, yeah, some people are really in a really cool headspace. And he was like, I really appreciate the thought that's going behind this. It was never like dismissive.
Yeah.
He was just like, this is all really cool. And some of y'all are closer than you think. And which was the whole Backward album thing. That was what he would go on to later confirm. But so that part of it is sort of what led to a lot of speculation. The Coachella thing, I was already watching Coachella throughout the weekend because it was streamed live on YouTube. I stayed up. I had class the next day. I stayed up until 4 a.m. to watch it because it was West Coast, and I think it started at like... Lord was before him, and she started at like 11. So he started at like 12:30, went until like 1:30.
Okay.
So started right as Easter Sunday was starting, I think. He might have started at midnight.
Lord went before him.
Yeah, of course, right? Thanks, Coachella.
I never stopped thinking.
Who really impressed me, by the way. She was very good in like a live setting. I'd never seen her do anything live. But it was just like it was so funny because the Kendrick Lamar Discord was just like messages like that.
Like
just
something's
crazy.
coming, something's coming.
So even during the Lord part, everybody was sitting at their computer
Just like,
and
waiting.
everybody was like, "Oh man, Lord, you're killing it, but please hurry up! Like, you're great, but stop!
You're great,
Like,
but
can we
quit."
get Kenny out?"
Yeah. Does fans call him Kenny?
Yeah. So Kenny comes from Kung Fu Kenny, which is what he calls himself in the album.
Okay, you've referenced this before.
Yeah.
All right,
so
okay.
Kung Fu Kenny came from this album, which is so good.
Kung Fu.
And that would go on to inform his Coachella performance, which started with a cinematic. Like it opened instead of him like on stage, it started with like this very like Bruce Lee style looking graphics and this little movie of like cutting in on Kendrick and him speaking Japanese and it saying something else or whatever. And then he started with DNA. And basically just did the whole album in full. And so even during the set, people were like, "Oh my god, he's just using red and blue." And oh my god, look at the shoes he's wearing and look at the outfit he's wearing. This is made just like
just
watching
the whole time. Okay.
And it is still one of my favorites. So it's hard to get the impact of a live performance on video, right? Like concert footage is never as good as the actual concert.
Right.
This is as close as I've ever come to. Like I got more enjoyment out of this live stream of a concert than I did concerts I've been to.
Right.
Like because of the community, because of the speculation, because it was a baller ass set.
Right.
Because he went all out, because the crowd was super hype. Like it all culminated in a way I didn't expect. And looking back on it, I was like, okay, well that was worth it.
Yeah.
All the craziness, because I fully admit I bought into this. I thought there was going to be a second album that dropped.
Yeah. I would too.
I remember most people not thinking it. Well, there was a certain pocket, like I said, this Kendrick Lamar subreddit that really sort of propagated it. And of course, you have your skeptics saying like, this isn't happening.
Right.
But it was a lot of fun to speculate.
Well, yeah.
Something similar like this happened with Frank Ocean a couple years before, and there were some people who were like, "Oh no, it's Frank Ocean all over again. Like, I don't want to get God again."
Yeah, I can't do it again.
And they did. But I just wanted to share that story because I don't think that's something that's been talked about since it happened, really. And I don't think anyone has ever covered it more than, Twitter or Reddit or whatever.
Right.
And people just kind of forget it happened. And I think that's a really interesting story about how a community can almost build its own hype.
Yeah. And I think it says it's kind of a testament to Kendrick Lamar in a way that, like, his community came together wanting this second album and hyping it up internally to where like he didn't even have to do anything.
Right.
Like he just showed up and went like, just wait. Yeah. And then, like that sets off bells and whistles and everybody's like, oh, holy crap, there's definitely going to be something else happening. Let's stay tuned. Let's keep, tuning in. Like
I bet that there were a couple of really noticeable things that happened with this. One, I bet that Coachella live stream had way more eyes than anybody else on Coachella did.
Right, for sure.
Two, he was teasing, but he didn't tease without paying off something. Right? He had the collector's edition. He had, even though it's the same album backwards.
He confirmed.
Right, exactly. He did give credence to the theories and no, this is true. There was some great the memes during this were amazing. There was a great meme of Kendrick realizing he has to drop a second album in 2 days, and just him freaked out, like
oh no.
Yeah, so I mean, everybody was kind of doing it in fun. Nobody was like, oh my god, I need this, right? Because Damn was such a good album on its own,
right?
And I remember there were people specifically saying, don't let this cloud your judgment of Damn if nothing else drops, which I thought was really salient in the moment to say, this album is great. Don't let the false hopes of a second album ruin your opinion of Damn.
If nothing else happens, don't let this destroy the situation here.
Right. And if nothing else, it made me like Damn more because I was being so introspective and trying to put my own meaning on it and just looking through the lyrics as much as I could, and then that led me to read the lyrics and read the poetry that Kendrick had written for this album.
Then you get more, I think you at that point it's more meaningful.
Yeah.
Like and you're bonding with people that love the same thing that you love, which is always that's always something that makes something you love worth it.
Yeah.
Like being able to have that connection with people across the world that you will never meet and will never know. And yet, like, for a moment, an instant in time, like you bonded, and I think that's really cool. I think
Yeah.
that's really cool that he could bring people together like that without even really meaning to. Like,
Yeah.
kind of
Just by releasing art, basically.
right by making something that was worth talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's really cool. That's really awesome.
I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was a story worth telling.
Yeah, for sure.
I implore people to go watch the video that I talked about. Like I said, I'll link it in the description, and just do a little bit of research about it, because I really think once you visualize it, and once you see it, and hopefully the video will help that too, but like once you really get where we were coming from, it's just like, well, yeah, obviously that you thought there was a second album.
Right.
I don't know. I just think it's really interesting that no one's really talking about it anymore, but I would love for this to happen again.
Right.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Like, it was so much fun. And I don't regret, like, oh, man, there's not a second album. Because I got to see an awesome Coachella performance.
Right. And you had this really cool, like, coming together of like-minded individuals, which I think that's pretty cool. So, and also you learn to sit down and be humble, which I think
that's true. I did learn to both sit down and
be humble, which I think is important.
Yes.
I think it's important.
Agreed.
It's important to know, I think.
Yeah.
That's my favorite song so far.
Mm.
I'm going to have to give a listen to just some more Darn from Kendrick.
More Darn? Yeah.
From Kendrick Lamar.
From Kung Fu Kenny himself.
That's the Kids Bop version.
Darn? Oh my goodness.
Darn is the Kids Bop version.
Ah, Jesus. There's a song called Lust, and I don't know how that would work on Kids Bop.
Lost your keys.
Oh.
Lost them. Uh-oh.
There's also a song called XXX.
XOXO, hugs
Oh,
and kisses.
wow. Do you work for Kids
Spin
Bop?
team.
Is it Lids Bop?
Oh, no. I don't want anything to do with children. Keep them away from me.
Lydia, I hope you learned something.
I did. That was really interesting.
Thanks.
And that was something that I didn't know about you, and I didn't know about something that you liked. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Do you know
Thank
what you're talking about next?
I do know.
Do you want to tease it? Because here's the thing. You opened it for me, and I was not ready at the time.
Opened it for you.
You were like, on the last episode, you were like, do you know what you're doing? And I was like, no. And you're like, oh, I put you on the spot.
I do know what I'm doing, and it is adorable. And that's all I'll tell you.
Is that your tease? Okay,
That's
I almost had the idea to, as you were saying what it actually was, to like bleep it out. And it's...
Well, we can do that.
No, it's fine.
Okay. I'm not
I
going to
think
tell
adorable
you.
is a good tease.
How about you wait your turn?
Actually, hidden throughout this podcast, there's
Yeah.
there's a through line of how we're going to
yeah.
release the second podcast, and
Yeah.
it's actually backwards. If you listen to this podcast backwards, you'll go insane.
If you listen to it backwards, you'll hate yourself. So don't do that. Don't do that thing. No, but the next topic will be adorable. And that's all that I have. Because my
Stark
first,
contrast.
My first one was murder. I have to go a little softer on you.
Yeah.
So it wasn't kind to you last time. But I did. I learned a lot. I think it's very, very interesting.
Thanks.
And I think that's unique for an artist to do nowadays, is
Agreed.
to kind of get that kind of hype going for their brand. So
Yeah.
I think that's really
My
cool.
brand.
My brand.
Liddy, where can people find you?
People can find me at twitch.tv/Team Liddy. Where can they find you?
Twitch.tv/Stormstreams.
What do you do there?
Sing and dance.
It's true.
I only do Hello My Baby, Hello My Darling.
Hello,
and
ragtime
it's
gal.
4 minutes of stream and then I end.
It's 4 minutes of stream, and he's got a little frog with the top hat, and he wiggles its legs.
Yeah. Also, I'm the frog.
And he got sued by WB.
No.
Warner Brothers. Got us again.
Be careful where you click. I think that's what we said last time, right?
We said until next time.
Watch where you click. Be careful where you click.
Last time I said don't get killed.
Yeah,
and
but
you were
then you followed it up.
And you were like, that's not good.
You followed it up with
Until next time.
watch where you click.
Watch where you click. Be careful where you click.
This is a good outro.
One of the two.
This is all good.
Until next time, watch where you click.